Hey there, how are you doing? I am Star Penn, your leaky gut coach and the creator and founder of the JIA Blueprint. Today, what we're going to talk about is Lyme disease. I hear so many times parents, clients of mine, as well as people that I speak to regularly on just on the internet or via email and things like that, that they're starting to explore. Maybe their naturopath is starting to explore the idea that maybe their child doesn't have juvenile arthritis after all. Maybe it's Lyme disease. And a lot of times when people get this diagnosis, because sometimes it actually comes up in tests, they're like, I don't think my child was ever near a deer tick, or I don't remember them ever being bit by a tick. And so there's this very strong correlation in the medical side of thinking that Lyme disease comes from the Borrelia microbe, which it does, and that this from being bitten by a tick. And what I want to talk to you about today, just a few things to really understand, not just this Lyme disease symptoms, diagnosis, testing, but also what it is we can do about it and really what's really going on in the body when a rheumatologist feels our joints, runs blood work and says JIA versus maybe a more naturopathic doctor running other blood tests saying, it might be Lyme. What's going on there? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So first and foremost, what we want to understand about any type of disease is that we typically don't catch these things. Our body is full of thousands upon thousands, millions of microbes, some that we would deem bad, right? We would say, oh, they're bad. But what we understand in the more functional naturopathic holistic view of our overall body and health is that a lot of these microbes, including the one that causes Lyme disease, actually it's already in our body, as is H. pylori, many others. We list on all the different infectious pathogens that might show up in blood work when we are bringing our child in for having symptoms of joint pain or brain fog or other, skin issues, other issues that are coming up and then that lead us to take these tests. Some of these pathogens show up, and the idea that we somehow caught these is really where it's the premise, it's the foundation where we're already going in the wrong direction. Where really in reality, all of these microbes are meant to coexist and inhabit our bodies in an ecosystem where everybody plays a role, pretty much. And so the bacteria, that causes or gives us the symptom of Lyme disease is actually a scavenger in the body, and all of us already have it in our body. And its role is to scavenge heavy metals and toxins and to really help keep the body clean in a healthy terrain, in a body that the gut lining is intact, the internal ecosystem of the gut, which is really the whole body, but 80% of the immune system's in the gut, but our entire body, because there's a connection with all of the organs in the gut. But primarily when things get off balance in the gut, it sends imbalances all throughout the body. And what we're seeing when we run a test for our child and it comes up positive for Lyme, it's not that they were necessarily and probably not likely bitten by a tick. And if they were bitten by a tick, it's also likely that's not how this came about. Really, just like JIA, juvenile arthritis, just like uveitis, just like type 1 diabetes, just like lupus, just like any other autoimmune condition in the body, the root cause and how our child came about to have not only these symptoms but these test results is because of the imbalance in the body and these so-called bad bacteria, the dominance in the body, therefore showing up on tests, therefore alerting your functional or naturopathic medical doctor of, hey, you have this bacteria. The problem is, what is the mainstream solution for that? Well, it's kill, 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 isn't it? It's let's get these antibiotics in them. And usually with Lyme, it's intensive antibiotics and it's ongoing antibiotics. And just like with juvenile arthritis or any other autoimmune issue that we're currently dealing with our child, sometimes it can get much worse. Once we get it, all killed, it can blow up and get much worse. Or after a short amount of time or sometime later, something else will develop. And our doctors and even ourselves are not really necessarily going to make the connection that it's all one thing. Everything is connected. Really, all we did, yes, we might have knocked out a good amount of that Borrelia pathogen, but we also wiped out the entire immune system of our child, which is only going to be a breeding ground for excessive yeast, which is going then to be a breeding ground for excessive heavy metals, which is then going to be a breeding ground for these so-called infectious bacteria and pathogenic bacteria to then rise again. And really, the reason why they're rising is because they're trying to help. They're trying to help the body heal. And so what do we do with these mainstream approaches is we shoot the messenger and we think we're nipping it in the bud, and we really aren't. We really aren't. We are kicking the can is what we're doing. And we're making our child's health so much worse. So what I say to my clients or people who are not my client and watching this video, if your biggest concern is to find out whether or not it's juvenile arthritis or Lyme or something else, let me just tell you that it's really moot. Meaning, what we're going to do to reverse it is exactly the same, no matter what it is. What we have is dysbiosis, and we have a body that is overloaded with toxicity. And when we start to see these symptoms of whether it be labeled Lyme, juvenile arthritis, lupus, or any other autoimmune disease, regardless of what it's named, when we start to see these symptoms, all that is for us is information. It's information that the body is so overloaded with toxicity. That means even these sponge-like microorganisms that are absorbing these toxins trying to save our child's body, they can't even hold the toxins and get them out of the body fast enough. And so it's a whole body approach. People want to ask, does this anti-inflammatory work, or this anti-inflammatory diet work, or supplement? And the truth is that all of these things can help to a degree, but we're still stuck in the mindset of mainstream medicine, even though maybe we're trying to go natural, of thinking that it's going to be one thing or a handful of things, something that we can put down there that's going to get rid of it. And that's not how it's done. That's not how we repair the body and get our child to no longer have symptoms of Lyme, JIA, or any other autoimmune issue. And it's about completely rebuilding the body. We hear, it's a buzzword now, we hear people talking about leaky gut and getting to the root and repairing the gut. And there is some truth to that, obviously. But even that is a band-aid approach, because it isn't even addressing it on the deepest level. And it's really, why did the gut? Yes, we need to seal and heal the gut. Yes. But why is it leaking? That's really what we want. Why is it leaking? What's causing it? And we need to heal the body from that most. So it involves several branches of healing, and it takes time. We need to take a systematic, we need to take a patient approach, and realize that we are working with a very innately wise, intelligent human body that knows exactly how to heal itself. A lot of times we put ourselves in that healing position and think, I'm going to heal my child's body, which is great to have that mindset, but we really want to shift even more and say, I'm going to facilitate healing. I'm going to help the body. I'm going to give my child's body what it needs to heal itself. So this involves not just understanding all the different systems in the body, obviously the gut, obviously all the detox organs, obviously too, I'm not saying obviously, but these are the things that we do in the blueprint. The next obvious thing for us are these underlying infections. But just imagine if you were just going to take, just on a small level, what I've explained so far, that this microbe rises to the occasion because there is most times an overabundance of heavy metals in the body. And that's caused by a number of things. But it rises to that occasion to consume these heavy metals. So imagine if we just went ahead and killed it. We just go ahead and kill that bacteria in the body. What are we doing? Where are all those heavy metals going now? So this is where it takes, like I said, a systematic approach and something that we need to look at with our child on an everyday basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, not something that we're going to do for 3 months at a time and then, or, for chunks of time at a time, but something that we are going to move with and be fluid with on a daily basis to help our child's body either build up their organs, replenish their gut, nourish their gut lining, detox from toxins. And we really need to be very close to the project and understand what we're doing and respond to the body because it's in a constant state of healing. I use this illustration a lot, so you might have heard it, but we see a cut on the arm, we see how fast it heals. So as opposed to if we put ointment and a bandage, as opposed to if we didn't, we see the difference. And that's really what the body wants to do. It wants to heal. It's rapidly healing. And our kids, especially, their bodies are rapidly healing. So as long as we're providing that so-called the balm, the bandage, the things that it needs at that time to heal, we can get this healing. What I really want parents to walk away from this video is to be empowered, because we're not getting the full story about Lyme disease. We are sent into panic mode. We're sent into, we got to get it. We got to antibiotics. We got to wipe it out. And that is not the way of wisdom as far as what the body needs to actually heal, why this Borrelia even came up to the surface in our child's body in the first place. And the reason it came to the surface is because their body was already extremely toxic and overburdened and unable to detox properly. And I talk about those detox protocols and why we need to detox in other videos. So if it's not clear, go and check out one of those. But that's what's going on in our child's body. And it can manifest in things like fatigue and joint pain and aches and pains, chronic fatigue syndrome and things that look like irritable bowel syndrome and Crohn's, all sorts of things, the rosy cheeks of the lupus and, different things that are going on with our kids that have all these symptoms, and then they want to put a name on it. And really what's going on is it's all one thing that's going on. And so depending on what tests they take and what specific bacteria they can pull, they can say that they found, they give it a name, but it doesn't matter because all of these scavenger-like bacteria are rising to the occasion to really try to help heal. They're trying to help your child's body to deal with the toxic overload. And so what we do in the blueprint, rather than trying to kill the underlying infections, is we rebuild the body with all of the good bacteria that needs to be there and sealing all of the areas that are leaking, and by rebuilding the internal gut lining and getting the detox organs flowing freely. So the body can handle these things itself. And then what happens is these bacteria, they go what we call underlying infections, right? Your functional doctor might say these are underlying infections, which are true, But what ends up happening is that they go back down to where they belong and they become undetectable again. But just remember those things. And I really hope that this empowers you to know that when these things are found in our body, they are not in and of themselves our enemy. They're there to let us know that the other symptoms in the body aren't able to do what they're supposed to do. They are rising the occasion to do that job, and they are not designed to do that job, not for the long term. And then that's information for us that we need to step in, and we need to start to take care of things and get the systems in our child's body working properly so they can go back and retreat. And so with that, it's my hope that learning this information about Lyme will free you and will remove some of the fear that is surrounded by the Lyme, because when we get that diagnosis, we think that the only answer is the mainstream approach. And unfortunately, that mainstream approach just prolongs the problem and until something else comes up and something else comes up. And it's like we're always chasing something. And we might get those moments of reprieve where we think we got it under control, but we're really only making our child sicker. And I really hope that one of the things that you learn too from all of my videos and from the philosophy and how we go about reversing autoimmune issues inside the blueprint is that it is all one thing. It does make sense to be giving these things names. So depending on where the activity is happening in the body, it helps the medical community to compartmentalize and to focus on one area. And that's good and fine. And it's okay to get a diagnosis and to focus on that. But really on a deeper level, when we understand, when we go about healing, it's all one thing. And so it doesn't matter if, someone say, well, I don't know if I need to come in the blueprint because we're still trying to figure out if it's JIA or Lyme. It doesn't matter. We call it the JIA blueprint because that's the story. My daughter had juvenile arthritis, but what we do in rebuilding the body, it's going to rebuild the body. So it doesn't really matter where in the body the signal that we're getting and the named diagnosis that we got from our medical doctor. If we want to fix it and truly fix it, we're doing the same thing either way. So I really hope that empowers you. I hope that information gives you the knowledge that you need to move forward with your child's diagnosis and how you choose and how you want to go about addressing it. But until next time, please if you don't already follow me, please subscribe to my channel. That way, whenever I get a new video up, you will definitely be notified. And please like this video. These autoimmune diseases, they're just becoming so unbelievably common now, and more moms need to hear this information. So to the extent that you like the video, as you know, the YouTube algorithm will prioritize me in this realm, and more people really do need to hear this. So until next time, I will see you later. And if you have any questions, you can email me at jiablueprint@gmail.com. You can leave a message here in the chat. You can go to my website as well, www.jiablueprint.com. All right. Take care, guys.